Hey guys, happy Sunday and welcome to a belated recap video. On Friday, I was really busy. I basically finished trading, very rushed trading, and then we went snowboarding. We wanted to get to the lifts before, I guess, they really opened because it was a really good powder day. And that was my big mistake on Friday. And it's something that I've been struggling with a lot. It's one of the hardest things as a day trader, which as of now, it's my full-time job. It's actually really not a full-time job. It's like a part-time job because it doesn't require a lot of time. The problem is when you do trade, you want to be really focused. And I had to really give this a lot of thought because this is a trap I've fallen into quite often. And I'm about 2.5 years now into my new day trading strategy, which is basically small cap, gap and go momentum trading. And it's working really well. I love it. But there's those few times like Friday where you just really trip over yourself. And as a trader that's about 2.5 years into this new strategy, this is one of those areas that I think is keeping me at a bit of a plateau, from keeping me to grow my size, from keeping me from those, really big profit days. So this is something I really need to work on. And I didn't want to make some, half-ass recap video on Friday when I was already tired. It was afternoon after a ski day. I just wanted to really think about it. And I was going to come out with this recap video yesterday, but I felt like I should think about it a little bit more, just kind of reduce some of the emotions behind it and see if with a little bit more time I can come up with a better answer. So basically here's the problem. February trading, you can see Friday I hit my max loss. So for those of you who don't know, my max loss in the day is 10% based on my average position size. And right now, if you round it, that's basically $10,000 is the closest 10,000 mark on my average position size. So 10% of that is $1,000, which is my max stop on the day. That's something that I can get back in any one day of trading. Obviously, February was a very slow day. I had no really big green days. It was a bit of a wash month for me, just like January. It's been a really slow start to the year just because day trading small caps has been it's been like a lake out there. Just wasn't a lot of opportunity, which is fine. Most traders make, the majority of their money in like 3 to 4 months. So you never know when that's going to be. I like to be vigilant on the market and be ready for that. The problem is, how do you limit yourself sometimes to trading aggressively when you're in a bit of like this, questionable zone? Like the small cap market has been picking up a little bit. It just hasn't been like that great. And yesterday I really fell into that problem where I started trading a little bit more aggressively than I should have for no reason. And that's why I lost a lot of money on Friday, or I hit my max stop. So that's like part one of the problem, over trading when you shouldn't really be trading. And the second part of the problem is, I guess, over trading or trading when you really shouldn't be trading because there's other things on your mind. I always say you shouldn't trade sick, tired, hungover, yada, so on and so forth. That's why I didn't trade Wednesday, because Tuesday we had our big NFT launch. And then we had that big live stream on Heiko's channel. If you guys remember, we were taking shots and everything. So Wednesday, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a little hungover on Wednesday. I'm just not going to trade, which was a great idea. Thursday, there wasn't a lot of opportunity. I was watching swing trades. I was able to manage my swing trades really nicely on Thursday. So this was a good day to not day trade as well. And Wednesday was a good day. Now, Friday was also a good day not to day trade for me personally. And and this is the tough part, because it's like you want to work, but the best way to do your job is by not doing your job. And I think that's like one of the hardest parts about day trading. So Friday, it was this really good powder day, and we were going to go snowboarding. And my brother was there, my dad, and it's one of those rare moments we can all go out to the mountain together. The problem was, right now there's a lot of volatility in the market, and for me, that's like the best thing possible. So it's like this really annoying phase where it's like, I need to trade, like I need to work, but at the same time, like I should probably take this day off. So what I try to do is a little bit of both. And this is like, I think I'm going to make a rule about this where I'm just not allowed to do both anymore. There needs to be a line in the sand, because this happens every single time I try to do two things in one day, where basically I'm like, okay, let me get a little bit of trading in and then I'll do something else. It just doesn't work for me. For some people, I know it works really well. They can trade on the phone, they can trade on the go. For me, it just doesn't work. Like the second my mind is somewhere else, I can no longer trade. It's really weird. So I do my best trading usually within 2 hours, and then I'm done for the day. So I don't need a lot of time to trade. I just need focused time to trade. And what happened to me on Friday was basically I was trading and everyone else was getting ready. So I was like, I need to get out of this trade. I need to hurry up. I need to do this. Maybe I'll get one more opportunity I can quickly squeeze in. So instantly, I was projecting outside world things into my trading, which led me down this really aggressive rabbit hole. So let's go to the running P&L, and you can really see this, where I instantly had a red trade. because it wasn't a good day to day trade necessarily. There wasn't really any patterns. Then I made back some of my losses, and then this is where I really needed to start getting ready. And you could literally see where my mind shifted, where I had to do other things. And so I should have walked away here and just let it be. But at this point, it was kind of already too late. I should have just never been trading. But it's like, a lot of these things sometimes feel a little subjective, like should I walk away, should I not walk away, should I take this day off, should I not take this day off, like where is the line? And I think what I've noticed is if there's objectively no good setups, there's no 60, 100, 200% gapper, there's no clear front side, there's no like my bread and butter setup, then I should be taking the day off. So I could maybe check in the morning really quickly, and if I can get my few moves, which usually only takes like 30 minutes of like a classic 2-hour trading slot, that's usually where I make most of my money. It's kind of like staring at the market for 2 hours, and then like boom, those 30 minutes is where I pretty much make all my money and then walk away. If there's none of that, I need to walk away. But to take that even a step further, especially in a slower market for small caps like we're seeing right now, let me just enjoy the day fully. Maybe let me just fully take off. And that's really what I should have done on Friday. It's like one of those rare moments we can all hit the mountain together, do some good snowboarding. So really the best thing I should have done was just not trade at all, because then there would have never really been any sort of, regret or FOMO or something like that. And there's many days in my mind where I can really speak from. So I'm trying to think back to not just Friday's example, but to many other examples where I kind of had some sort of activity I needed to do, which started a little bit too soon or like a little bit into my trading day. So there's pretty much two options. Basically, don't trade or don't do the activity, or trade and then do the activity later. Take a car later, join people later. Once I'm done with everything, then I can do the other activity. So basically one thing at a time. I'm a horrible multitasker. It just doesn't work for me. And also what's very subjective about trying to find a rule here is it's going to be different for everybody. Like for me, my max stop rule when I'm down 10% based on my average position size is a very, very objective, concrete, very specific, easy to follow rule. But this rule is very hard, not just for me, but to tell anybody else they should follow this rule, because again, this is like the most subjective rule you could ever imagine. And this is why I wanted to spend an extra few days thinking about it, because I'm trying to figure out a way to make it as objective as possible, because you can't have subjective rules in a very objective day trading profession. So how can I make this an objective rule? How do I know when to stop trading on a specific day where maybe I have a different activity? And this is, I think, how I'm going to do it. Basically, if I have those, awkward amount of like 1.5 hours or something like that, what I can do is check the market. And if the market is hot, there's a really good setup, I can trade that market as long as there's my top setup. And if that no longer exists, if that's done, if that front side's over, I need to stop trading, boom, pack up, walk away, because I know within 10, 15, 20 minutes, my mind's going to be on that second activity that I need to be doing. And if there is no good setup, you know what? I should be happy. I should be like, thank you, there's no good setup today. Maybe there's going to be one in an hour. I don't really care. I checked, I stopped by. Now let me close up shop and go to that activity. So I think that's how I'm going to do it. Either there's the good setup or there's not a good setup. Or I guess you can say just like Wednesday, where I just said, you know what? I'm not going to trade the day before. I just knew right away. Wednesday, I'm going to be hungover. I'm not going to trade, period. That's simple. That's obviously the easiest. But otherwise, I know based on my personality, I do enjoy checking the market really quickly. And that's quite important. I like to be kind of up to date with things. So check the market really quickly. If I see a really good setup, focus, get aggressive, trade that setup, but then walk away. So what I want to show you guys here on Friday is these trades I did on Friday, because they were so bad. All these trades were really, really bad. And I don't even really need to really go to the ticker. I will, but look at this. Backside, backside, backside. I was trading backside. Backside's my worst pattern. It's something that I should never really be trading to begin with. So let me just really quickly show you guys exactly what I was doing. And man, this just screams FOMO and, my mind was somewhere else. It's like, it's really painful for me to look at this pattern. I was quite upset with the kind of trading I was doing on Friday. It was just so embarrassing. Let's actually just start on the daily really quickly. So this is kind of an ugly ticker. It did look like it found a bottom here around 12, and it had this huge gap up day, hitting big resistance at 20, 22.5, and then 25 big resistance zone. It's a commercial services and supply diversified support service company, 121 million shares outstanding and a $2.3 billion market cap. So it's not really in the wheelhouse that I'm trading. So already I'm trading a ticker that is not my go-to ticker. It's not my classic small cap. It's not a good, daily pattern with these big resistance zones. No blue skies. It looks like they were up on good earnings. So that's an okay catalyst. It's not even my favorite catalyst. So that's also another thing to consider. Pre-market, really rough chart pattern here and a lack of decent volume. So it has this big spike to the upside, but basically gives a chunk of that back, and now it's crawling here in this range. So it's not good trading to begin with. This is not a good clean chart pattern. And in the morning, it opened up and looked like it was having a red to green move. And that's basically where I started trading this one, which is something I sometimes go after. But look at this. I don't even go after that. I don't go after this, support line bounce at 20. What I actually do is actually find support here on this 180 SMA, simple moving average. And I try to trade this backside on these little bounces, which actually do end up working, but I just never take profits quick enough like I typically do on a backside, and it just sells off more and more aggressively, and I'm just constantly scalping between, but I'm just taking one red trade after another. And then I think I had one decent red trade, and I'm just at this mind my brain switches to a red mode, and at the same time I have to go and it's just I need to be packing, it's just the worst way to be trading. And I knew I was doing I was breaking my rules trading this ticker, which made it really frustrating. So basically bought the sell off near big support on the 5 minute, sold into the pop. And a lot of these were little wins, but I think somewhere here I took a bigger loss. And then I finally had a win, and then finally at this point I get a nice little pop, but then I had to leave, so I close out my position, and then it finally does what I want it to do. So my brain is somewhere else, and it's not on the charts. If this was any other day, maybe I could have actually traded this backside fine. Who knows? Sometimes I do make a lot of money with backside. It's not like a pattern I'm a total foreigner to or a stranger to, but again, my point is I'm trading a setup that isn't my best setup, and then my mind is somewhere else. So this is all stuff I shouldn't have been doing. Basically what I should have done is notice, okay, this is the market we're seeing today. This is horrible day trading for me personally based on the strategies I trade. So let me just walk away. I checked it. I should feel good. There's nothing good setting up, and then just walk away. That's simple. And over time, I'm getting better at this. I don't make these mistakes as much as I used to, but a big reason for that is because of the rules I start implementing on myself. And that's why I want to kind of make this a really clear-cut rule, because when I start breaking rules, I start feeling bad about it. And then I usually stop doing what I know will eventually, make me lose money. And that's why there's a rule there. So in this area, if I was still watching this ticker, I would have been breaking my rule of walking away from a ticker that doesn't have a good front side setup. So I would have felt like, I'm breaking a rule here, and then walked away. Right now, I don't really have a rule about, keep on trading until I have to do something, right? There is no rule. It's just kind of like this gray area where I know this is usually, where things get slippery. So what I'm trying to do is remove that gray area by putting some very objective, clear-cut rules there. And that is, if there's no setup, either pre-market or first thing at the market open, I need to be walking away. Especially when I have something else to do. I mean, usually I could, if I had another hour or so, I could just watch the market and be patient. I just didn't have that luxury on Friday, and that's where I started getting this kind of FOMO, or this I need to quickly get my trade in so I can leave. That's just, it gives me the shivers. It's really a bad place to be. So that was CAR, and then I also traded UUU, and then a little trade on QS, which is not really, this was actually supposed to be a swing trade that I quickly closed. This isn't even really something worth talking about. So let's go to UUU. And wow, swing trading has been on fire lately. So I might make a separate video on that coming up here. But you guys can always check my swing trading portfolio and see my current holdings. I came out with a recent post about swing trade stocks I'm looking for swing trades as well. So check out my portfolio if you want to learn more about my swing trading. Anyway, UUU, big sell off here. Classic backside trend ticker. On the daily, we've been seeing a lot of that lately. The big resistance around $4 and $3.80. So this was kind of the zone to be watching. But then also around $5, I thought we had room to run. So that was kind of my game plan there. Look for that front side move to $5. It's an electric equipment company, 2.3 million shares outstanding and 9.2 million market cap. So classic small cap. This is much more what I'm looking for. Good price range, so on and so forth. These people are up for some, it looks like there was a merger agreement or some sort of merger news. So that could be, a decent catalyst because it's a little bit harder to quantify those compared to earnings. So let's go to the daily and see how I went ahead and traded this one. And I think I did actually a pretty okay job here. I think I was still red on this ticker, but that's fine because the way I actually went ahead and traded it. So front side move here and a lot of consolidation. This is good, like first stare, good potential. So, okay, this is a setup that I'm usually looking for. So let me actually trade this one. Breakout, pullback. I missed this pullback, which was unfortunate. This would have been the big mover. You can kind of see it. Let me zoom in a little bit more. This 1 minute pullback. That was the move I should have went for. But here I hesitated for a second. I bought into this breakout, which was a little bit better. I was actually green on this trade, but then it sold off and I quickly cut my losses here. And then I did one little bit of a ranging trade here where we came back into the range. This looks like a backside, but really this is a range trade because I identified this big support zone. So I did this trade and then took my profits really quickly here. And that was able to cut down some of the losses I made on that first trade. So, this was a front side move that failed. Oh well, so be it. Happens sometimes. I did one little range / backside trade here, took my profits, and then I tried this one little sell-off here where I actually had an alert order. When I was trading CAR, I noticed it got filled and there was a bounce and I quickly just sold. It was a very small share size. It was just an alert order because the alerts on TOS are too slow. So sometimes I have a few shares that go out. So boom, that was it. And I don't think I had any FOMO here. I mean, this alert order I could have just removed. This was kind of unnecessary at this point, but this was a good ticker. This was a failed move. That's fine. And then I made this little bounce here. That was fine too. My problem with CAR is I think at this point, like, my mind was just somewhere else. I was getting frustrated, and then I was really trying to trade this backside, and I was rushing every trade because my mind at this point was somewhere else, and it was just a very frustrating ticker. Sometimes I have a red day and I actually feel really good because I'm like, today was a bad day and I did the best I could. So I really can't be so upset about today. But Friday, I had a red day and it was just like, it was so unnecessary. Like it just should have been like a scratch day or a day I shouldn't have traded. And I think that's why I was so frustrated on Friday, was just like, this was so silly. It just totally ruined my day when today should have been like a great kind of holiday day. And I think everyone can relate, even if you're not like a full-time day trader or something like that. Everyone has those situations where it's like, I should have just let this be and enjoy this other activity, because if you're doing one thing and your mind is somewhere else, that is a recipe for disaster and just being miserable. So just say, today I want to do this, so do it. And the worst thing you can really do is half-ass it, and that's really what I did Friday, and that's why I'm so frustrated still about Friday, because it was such an amateur hour mistake. I know I shouldn't be making mistakes like that, yet I still did, and I think a big reason for that is I had no concrete rules. It was still a bit of a play area for me where it's like, maybe I can get a little bit out before I have to go, yada yada, and that's fine, but now I need that concrete rule where if there's no good front side setup, just like how you saw with UUU not being a front side at one point, I could trade that move. After that, boom, it's over, done, walk away, start getting ready and enjoy the day. Or the day before, I need to decide, how hot is the market right now? Well, honestly, it's not really that hot. How much do I want to do this event tomorrow? Well, it's something I don't do a lot. It doesn't happen all the time, so I really want to do it. So in conclusion, you know what? I'm going to take off trading. I'm going to make tomorrow a holiday and enjoy the day fully and not trade. So it needs to be a very concrete decision like that, either the day before or when I check the pre-market and assess it. And then if it's really good, day trade, that's fine as well, but I can't do both, and it's really that simple, especially when it's super tight together. So yeah, that was the recap for Friday. I hope you guys were able to learn something from that. Hopefully you guys maybe were able to relate and see how I address the issue. Maybe you guys can use some of that for your own trading strategies. Again, this is like a little bit more of a subjective rule because I know what works and what doesn't work for me personally. For some people, just like David in our Discord, who can, be at dinner and basically trade, that's amazing. If you can do that, do that. For me personally, I can only focus on one thing at a time, and realizing that is really the biggest step forward I can make in my own trading career, so I can get out of this, plateau of giving back profits unnecessarily, because that ruins some of my confidence and that keeps me from, increasing my position size, which is right now the biggest thing holding me back from new, max profit months. Because right now I'm kind of like stuck in this range. I'm not hitting those new highs like I used to be. And yeah, this is definitely one of those last major issues that I need to iron out. I mean, there's always going to be issues. You're never going to be perfect, but this is one of those things that's like a recurring problem in the past that I think maybe I've addressed more directly than I have in the past, and I'm excited to see how things will go forward from here. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'm excited to see everyone again first thing Monday morning. And believe it or not, I actually have a dentist appointment at 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow morning, which cuts in again with my day trading time. I'm getting so annoyed of activities cutting into my day trading times. It's freaking me out. So tomorrow, Monday, I need to apply this rule. I need to check pre-market. How is it looking? If there's a good setup, good front side setup, I can trade it. If there's not, boom, I need to call it. So Monday, there's a good chance I might not day trade. Let's see what happens. So stay tuned for that recap video. Till then, guys, don't forget to drop a like on the way out. Consider subscribing if you're new. We'd love to have you part of the channel. And like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.